What is going on, everybody? Project Rod here, and it is time for Season 3 of the Monster Jam Steel Titans 2 series, and for the first time ever, we will be introducing the Qualifier series here of this season. Just a quick reminder, though, before we get started, don't forget to check out my Patreon for early access and exclusive content, link on screen and in the description below. Huge shout out to Julian Peacock for being the most recent patron to join. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overview of the Qualifier, as there will be two events, one arena stop and one stadium stop, where points are everything. The top 4 in points will move on to the stadium series, and the bottom 4 in points will move on to the arena series. Of course, this is at the end of both events. Now, some new rules this season that'll be for everybody, for all series, is there will be no more disqualifications for being out of the race lane or hitting any of the turn pods. There will now be a 3-second penalty for each offense. Skills will now be 1 donut and 2 skills move, and the overall event champion will earn 5 bonus points at the end of the event. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lineup for the Qualifier, as Doomsday is the first one up. MMJ Producer coming for the first time ever. Soldier Fortune, Brian the Dog Webb, your reigning World Finals 2 Freestyle Champion, joining in and giving up his his seat in Bakugan Dragonoid to join Team Soldier Fortune. Nick Morkis joining in Ice Cream Man after being on Avenger in Stadium Series Season 1 and 2. Nitro Studios and Monster Mud Husky after being in Blue Thunder in Season 2 of the Stadium Series. Flames Plays joining Team Dragon after being on Zombie in Season 2 of the Stadium Series. Crazy Monster Jam Fan making his debut in Captain's Curse. Brandon Thunder making his debut as well in Megalodon. And last but not least, Angel Garcia joining in for the first time ever in Earthshaker. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lineup once again, as we're going to start from the bottom to the top. This is after all of the trucks and drivers were put into a randomizer, and this is the lineup that came out after that. So let's go ahead and get started with qualifying today, as Doomsday and MMJ Producer is the first one out on the track. And as I've mentioned, this is the first time for Doomsday as well as MMJ Producer to be a part of this series as a whole. Also, I'd like to mention a very happy birthday to MMJ Producer, as this is happening on his birthday here today, May 27th. So huge happy birthday to you, and some craziness going on as he's adjusting to the new environment. His first run, 17.16 seconds. So we got the first time on the board, and as many of you know already, if you're familiar with the series, every truck will get 2 attempts at qualifying. 1 on each lane, if you will, at least for qualifying, 1 on each side. Stadiums, 1 on each lane. And the best out of both times will be the time that will be counted on the leaderboard, on where they're placed, both in the leaderboard point and on the bracket for the for racing. Excuse me. So, going to be wrapping up his second attempt here. So far, no slip-ups, and there it is, his second time, 15:04. For Doomsday, so a good time right off the bat, 2 seconds, a little over 2 seconds faster than his first attempt. So he is now your current leader going into qualifying. There's 5 more trucks to go, and one of those 5 is none other than Soldier Fortune and Brian the Dog Webb. As I mentioned, he is your reigning World Finals 2 Freestyle Champion, and it was an amazing run. Almost got overthrown by Monster Mud Dalmatian and Northern Nightmare, as Monster Mud Dalmatian was 1 point away from tying, and Northern Nightmare was half a point away from tying, as we introduced half bonus points for that event. They ended up 14.82 for his first attempt. So we have a new leader in Brian the Dog Webb and Soldier Fortune. Doomsday now moving down to the second place spot in qualifying, but more back on Brian the Dog Webb. Last season he was actually behind the wheel of Bakugan Dragonoid, as I mentioned earlier. He ended up 4th in the overall points standings with 237 points on the season, as he's facing some trouble here outside of the race, I guess the race area, but the 2 front tires passed the race line, if you will, but some more trouble as he's flipping over the finish line, and he did face a 3-point deduction, 19.91 for his second run. So we're going to go for his first time, which is still not a bad time. It'll still put him in first place. So an unfortunate outcome for the second attempt, but still he is your current leader. As we move on to Nick Voorhees and Ice Cream Man, he was an Avenger for Season 1 and Season 2 of the Stadium Series, and unfortunately in Season 2 didn't have the best season, was actually last in points. Season 1 he was 6th in points, so it was an unfortunate drop. 15.42 is his first run, and a crazy ending as he's able to balance it back on all fours. Good driving, good driving by Nick Morkes there. But yeah, he just had a bad outcome. Season 2 wasn't really where he wanted to be, but he decided to come back and Team Ice Cream Man and you know, be a part of the qualifier series and see if he can get an invitation back to the stadium series. If not, work his way up from the arena series. Maybe a good change of scenery, change of pace will help him a bit. But nonetheless, he had great moments in the season. World Finals 2, he had an amazing freestyle run from what I remember. 15.67 is his second time. So he should be in, I believe, third place. We'll look at the standings here in a second, right after Monster Mutt, Husky, and Nitro Studios, as we move on to Nitro Studios, who had a pretty good comeback, really. Overall in the season, he was 12th place for a good while. He was really towards the bottom for most of the season, and he turned things around, fought hard, and made it back to 5th place, just behind Bakugan, Dragonoid, and Brian the Dog Webb. He had 217 points at the end of the season as he finishes his first run there, 15.09. But again, another driver that decided to say, hey, I'm going to give up Blue Thunder, give up my seat, and see how it goes on Team Monster Mud Husky. See if things turn around and you know, hope for the best. He has an opportunity here to make it back to the Stadium Series, or you know, go down to the Arena Series, which again, a change of scenery may help. I may have seen him go out of the race, and I'm not sure. Really, as long as the two front tires cross the finish line, you're good. You won't face a penalty. 15.94 is his second attempt. As we go ahead and take a look at the leaderboards, see what our top 4 are currently. And as we do that, I want to take a moment to talk about W Energy. Again, guys, 10% off if you use code Project Rod Rod. W Energy is really good. It's great. It's clean. No sugar, no calories. Beach and Peach is my personal favorite. It's a little bit of mango, and I believe some coconut in there, if I recall. I'd have to double check. It's delicious stuff. I swear by it. Don't forget to check out my Discord. Link is in the description below, as well as my Instagram and my TikTok. Usernames are the same. Project Rod Rod. I try to post at least on Instagram daily, but it fluctuates. If you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more of this content. As we move on to our 5th competitor today in qualifying, and it's none other than Flames Plays and Dragon. As I mentioned earlier, he was driving Zombie for the Stadium Series for Season 2. Unfortunately, was one of the bottom 4 that was eliminated. He was in 10th place as he has some trouble early on in the turn. He's able to save it, but that's really going to hurt his time as he finishes his first run, 19.17 for his first attempt. So that's going to put him down in 5th place. But hopefully this second attempt will be better. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But as I mentioned, in Season 2, he ended up in 10th place behind the wheel of Zombie with 148 points. He had a pretty good freestyle run. He was actually leading for a while as he's bicycling, and it's going to be too much for him to handle as he's going to be able to land it up back on all 4s, but he's going to get a DNF for the run. Tried to gas out of the bicycle, and it was just too much, and he slammed into that container, so that's going to be it, unfortunately, for Flames Plays and Dragon. Not the way he wanted to go, as Crazy Monster Jam fan and Captain's Curse come out, another newcomer to the series, trying to see what he can do for Season 3. If he can join the Stadium Series with some returning faces, or if he will come to the Arena Series and face April Summers and Driftboy 912, which are some trucks, or the couple of trucks that were demoted, if you will, from the Stadium Series. They were in 7th and 8th place for Season 2. So, Driftboy 912, of course, the reigning high jump World Finals champion. A great attempt by him, by the way. If you haven't seen that already, it was amazing. But let's go ahead and take a look at his second attempt. I believe his first run was 16.17, if I remember correctly. So should put him in about 5th place and move Dragon down to 6th. As he's going to finish his second one. He may have been outside the lines, though, rolling over No, they're going to count the run, and there you go. 16.26 is the second run, but as you can see, the front two tires, it looks like it was just barely in the legal route. So he will stay in 5th place, if I'm not mistaken, at the moment. But a crazy ending. We've seen some crazy flips going on here in qualifying early on. Makes me wonder how the rest of the series is going to go as Megalodon and Brandon Thunder come out. Again, another newcomer coming in the Big Shark, seeing what he can do. 15:09 is his first run, a really good time for his first attempt as he's getting lined up for the second one. Megalodon, which was almost teased at World Finals 2, but it ended up being Soldier Fortune and Dragon, who came out to make a brief appearance in the Encore for the World Finals 2 freestyle event, or competition, excuse me. Megalodon, though, was one of the trucks that was in line for that Encore, but decided to keep him a secret a little bit longer until we got closer to Season 3. So here comes his second time, a 15.87, so we're going to go with his first time of a 15.09 as we wait for our last competitor to come out, and that is going to be Earthshaker and Angel Garcia coming out for the first time, as well as making his debut, just like a few others already. To see what he can do in that Earthshaker truck. So far, we've had some crazy qualifying. And I mean, we've seen this plenty of times, though, throughout the season. Regularly a 14.96 for Earthshaker. So that should put him in about 2nd place, if I'm not mistaken. So a really good time for Earthshaker. Let's see if he can get a faster time. The second attempt and get that top spot. But as of right now, he's in 2nd place. So either way, he's in a good spot and in line to get 7 points after the first event. Going a little wide there. Not sure if that might help him or hurt him. Now he's cutting it kind of close, but that's going to hurt him there. He's going to face a deduction, or I guess, is it a deduction of 3 points? An addition of 3 points, I guess? 20.23 with that penalty. There you go. We'll call it a penalty. 3 points. So, that being said, Soldier Fortune and Brian the Dog Webb is your fastest qualifier expected from your reigning World Finals 2 freestyle champion. There is the times for qualifying today. As you can see, Soldier Fortune and Earthshaker getting the top 2 spots. But given how the bracket is going to be set up, now that there's 8 trucks, there's going to be no buy-runs into the second round. So there's your racing bracket, and this is your current leaderboards. After qualifying, of course, it's going to be pretty easy to tell early on, but as we progress, this will change a lot as we take a look at the overall event champion leaderboards, same as the current leaderboards. It's going to mimic everything up until we get to the stadium stop. So that being said, next event is going to be just the high jump. Be sure to join us tomorrow for that. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Link on screen and in the description below. Huge shout out to all of my patrons, especially Julian for being the most recent, and thank you so much for watching.